we're going to build this table, but I think it's better if we see it in person. How's that for some magic tricks? Don't need this now. Nice as this table is, still a little bare. Let's try that's what a table needs. So while you enjoyed this beverage, go ahead and enjoy this video. Can you tell I'm still working on my editing skills? Now this project starts with a bunch of teak, which is really expensive. So I was really accurate and I went ahead and cut it up into dimensions first before I ripped it. So I wouldn't waste any more material than I had to. At $24 a board foot. Breadboard, skirt, slats, and 4 legs. This is the first time I've ever worked with teak. It's naturally oily. That's what makes it so good for outdoor use. It protects itself from water. I want to glue these up to make some legs, but the natural oil is going to kind of be a hindrance, so we've got to remove that. So we're going to take these, wipe them down with acetone to get the oil off, and then immediately glue them up. Whip out the glue rack and then wipe it down with acetone. You'll notice that it's got a little bit of brown oil on it, and when it's clean, we're good to go. Before I forget, there are some bloopers at the end, so be sure to watch the video all the way through. I'd rather clean it than scrape it. This is going to be breadboard-style construction, so I put a tongue on all my lengthwise parts. And a groove on my 2 end pieces. Now wherever it wasn't freshly milled, I went ahead and went back with acetone and cleaned the oil off. I used 20 gauge pins just to hold the parts in place. When I install my slats, I work from the center out to the edge. The space between the slats is going to allow for an expansion. I made up all these shims to keep all my joints just exactly the same. Put some clamps on it just to hold the one end in place while it dried and got set up to a reasonable level. Then flipped it around and did the slats on the other side. Breadboard construction allows for expansion and contraction of the wood without messing up any of your joints or cracking any of the wood. These pins really aren't structural necessarily, they just hold it in place while the glue dries. These are pilot holes for my screws that go in the skirt. They don't go all the way through. But I came back with a smaller bit and went all the way through. That's so it wouldn't crack my skirt when I screwed it to the bottom of the table. The slats had a lot of warpage on them, so I had to put a brace in the center, and that way I could screw them down flat to keep the top nice and level and flat. And we had enough dimension left in them, we could trim them off and make some nice pretty joints on the ends. You notice as I route the ends, I come around and climb cut so I don't get blowout on my roundover. And then we sand. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of screwing the frame together. I'd have rather done some mortise and tenon, but I just cut some teak plugs to hide all my screw holes. I know I'm taking criticism for the way that I installed this skirt. These holes should be elongated to allow for expansion and contraction, so I got to come up with something in the future. And the center brace helped keep the top nice and flat. Hey, here's a big surprise, sanding. Joint didn't come out as perfect as I would liked, so I just set the Makita track saw just to make this nice little curve. Still don't have that planer, so I had to true the legs up on the table saw. I don't know what I was thinking when I started to sand these by hand. This is more like it. I probably spent the better part of a day making this jig that kept my posts at a 45. That same jig came in pretty handy on the drill press. Here's a trick I learned from Norm. Round over the bottom of your legs, that way they don't chip when you slide your table across the floor. For those of you who don't know me, I am my worst critic. A couple things I might have done different. Instead of doing a butt joint here, should have done a miter. There's nothing wrong with this, I just can see the end grain right here. Originally, I was going to have the leg on the outside and do a mortise and tenon joint right here. But this is what I did because I want to be able to take the legs off when I go ahead and move it. So let's put some finish on it. To finish this, I put a bunch of teak oil on it. And you just let the teak oil set in and you don't rub off the excess. But when it's all done, it's kind of gummy, so I just used some sandpaper and sanded it down nice and light, and it came out real smooth.
All right, here we go.
As long as you're not over that cement grout edge, but you're close.
Still out of focus.
Today, they're freaking small.
Just hold the paper maybe like from the top, just like that, so that way it's not flexing.
I got so
Cut.
cut. That's a cut.
Cut.
Cut. That's a wrap. Let's drink and smoke. And with that, remember to subscribe, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything, and watch those videos. We'll see you real soon.